number 27. Number 27, this one you need to hold the right hand notes, which is what makes it difficult. Okay, so yes, hold right hand notes. Yes, okay, and then when you hold it, hop up, I'll show you. So the left hand needs to all be legato, but the right hand, this is what we want to hear. So this one. All of this needs to be soft, except for that note that's being held. So this needs to be soft the whole way. Okay? And then when you're playing this one, left hand all legato as well, as legato as you can. Okay, so we have this kind of, this is independent of the finger. So these two need to be soft apart from this. Okay, so we've got this. Now for this one, if you don't get the sound correct, you won't really get what this piece is for, okay? Which is for these two to be soft and then the middle note to be stronger. So can we try just a bit of the right hand? So hold right hand notes and then voice. Yeah. Wow, too loud already. Yes. Anything or two more? Yes, okay, so that is what you're practicing. Key figure 1 and 5, light touch. Okay, so this one, practice, and then you have to get the left hand. So every 2 bars, we'll just do right hand, I think 3 times should be enough for you, and then left hand 3 times, and then together 5 times.
What do you mean left hand? Like for bars?
For every 2 bars, I want you to do right hand, practice it 3 times, left hand, practice it 3 times, and then put it together 5 times. Okay? Okay, good. And then let's go on to the nocturne. In here?
Yes.
Again, so make sure right hand is always clear. Let's try again. Left hand softer. today is better, and you need to start now incorporating the shaping into the memory. Your thing now is the articulation. Yeah.
Do you know some tips and tricks to what? So when I play the first note, so it doesn't get messed.
So you can hear it. You mean? Okay. Some tips and tricks. Does it come out when you play at home all the time, or do you miss notes at home as well?
I don't miss notes at home because I'm bright.
You don't miss a single note at home.
Not a single note, but like usually the first note I don't miss.
Usually, okay. So Chase, this is the thing you have to be very strict with yourself.
I'm not Chase, I'm Ace.
Sorry, Ace. When you're playing this, you need to be very strict with yourself. If at home you have any notes that don't come out, it means you can't control it. If you have the problem at home, you can't blame it onto the grand piano. Okay, sometimes at home you might have different notes that don't come out, but if there are notes that don't come out, it means you need to control it better. So my tip for you, it's normal, everyone has this problem, okay? When you're practicing at home, the tip is every time you have a note that doesn't come out, doesn't matter if it's left hand or right hand, you have to be very strict with yourself and you have to stop there and you practice the bar 5 times. Okay? It's to help your finger understand how to control to get the sound out. If at home you already have the problem sometimes, then when you change piano, the problem will become bigger. Okay? That is just how it is. Now, when you come to a different piano and you have to play, you have to think about it, especially with the grand piano, and on the day of the end of your concert, it's the same thing. You have to think, you need to use your arm weight on the first note in order for the sound to come out. Right now, because your finger 5 is the weakest, and when you play, you just play from your finger, it's not enough for the grand piano. You have to breathe, and then when you play the first part, you need to use your arm to lean into it. When you use the arm to lean into it, it helps the finger 5 to produce the sound. So you're not just using the finger alone, you're using the whole arm to go down. So because it's a bit firmer, it will help the sound come out. Okay? If it's that first note that you're worried about, what you need to do at home is you just play the first note over and over again. Hop up, I'll show you what I mean. So this is how you start. Because this beginning, your second time starting was a lot better. But you need to use your ears. When you play the first time, and then you go up to here, you didn't change the sound. If for some reason the start of your piece is the wrong sound, you need to adjust straight away. You need to think, okay, my right hand is too soft, and then you need to bring it out already. Does that make sense? So you must always use your ears. This is what you need to practice at home. So you practice like the beginning of your performance to make sure you can control the start. And then you go like this. So you sit, hands on the keys, and then when you're ready, breathe. And then you just do that. And then hands down again. So that's the first time I got the sound out. And then you do it again. Hands up. Practice the beginning. Breathe. Lean. And then you keep practicing that. And then you need to make sure 5 times in a row, when you start at home, it needs to come out. Then on the day of the performance, it will come out. The reason why it didn't come out just then is because you were not thinking, you didn't have the body language. So let's break that down. You breathe, because when you breathe, your body lifts up. And then same thing, your wrist will lift up. So here, lift up, place down, and then you lean in. Okay, when you lean in, because you have your whole elbow strength and the weight coming down, you won't miss the note. But right now, just then, why did you miss it? Because you went down with just the finger, and the finger itself is really weak. That's why you need to breathe. Breathe, and then lean into the keys. Okay? So let's try this beginning part. So I want you to sit exactly how we just did. This is what you need to do when you practice the performance for all your soft pieces. Okay, and then when you're ready, hands up, where you need to start. Yep, just find it, and then breathe. Okay, let's just practice this. So here, these two, give me your hand please. So here, after you breathe, elbow. So this elbow, when you play, can you just play this first note for me? So the first one, don't need to move. Softer, and then get your second one ready, again. Again. Elbow up, push down. Yes. Okay, so all that elbow weight translates into the finger five. Have a look at my elbow here. I'm using my elbow to play the finger five. Try again. Just the right hand. So not the first one, but on the finger five. Not yet. Press down. And then elbow. Yep. Yes, but now that needs to be legato. So elbow up and then down. Push without letting go of the finger one. So yep, try again. Not yet. Yep, good. And then elbow up, push down. Now getting a bit more legato here. Legato. Lift up, push. Good. Remember, when I say lift up, I mean the elbow, not the note. Okay, let's try again. Hold the B flat. Lift up, elbow. Have to hold the note. So you lift up here just a little bit to push down. Okay? Try. Lift elbow, push down. Push down even more. So remember, not just this, it's this. Feel that must be very firm. Elbow up firm. Good, but you have to hold that note. Yeah, again. Yeah. And again, transfer the weight over. Hold the thumb, push. Good. Now you've got it. And again, when you're ready, hold the thumb, push the five. Good. And again, try to push the five a little bit more. Push five. Good. And again. Push the five. Good. Now we add in the left hand. So hands off the piano. Do the whole preparation. And then when you're ready, lifting hands up. Get the left hand ready. And then breathe. Good. Okay, hands off. That's all I need to hear. And do the same thing over. Lean a bit more into the finger five, but that was much better. Remember to push. Elbow up. See, where do we have the elbow up? Elbow up here, so that we can push down. Okay? Elbow up, good push. Close. But this one, push down a little bit more. Let's try again. Yes. Push. Good. There's the sound. Hands off. Every time must have that sound. Now you've got the movement correct. And again. Good. One more time. Good. Okay, so that's what you need to do at home. I promise you, at home when you do it, you'll still have sometimes it doesn't come out. And that's why when you play here, it won't come out either. Now, I know at home, your piano is a bit easier to press, which is why it's so important you have the correct body movement. Because when you have the body movement, it doesn't matter what piano you go on, you can control and it will always come out. When you're just relying on your finger, it's too inconsistent because it's too weak for the grand piano. Okay, but if you get this movement, practice this movement at home, and then that way when you go to the grand piano, the sound will still come out. Okay, so that's your tip for the first part. My tip for the second part is whenever you have the sound not coming out, then you need to make sure you practice that bar 5 times. Every single time of the 5 times, every note must come out, just like how we practice that. Okay, and then when you come to grand piano, you'll have a lot less of this problem. Understand? Unfortunately, there's no tip. There's no tip because this is to do with the control. It's not to do with your understanding. You know, if I tell you the understanding, once you understand, you don't need to do it. You don't need to practice it, you can do it. But because this is control, just because you understand my notes have to come out, your fingers may not do it. So unfortunately for control, you just have to practice it. Okay? Alright, so let's continue on. That was a good question though. So I hope that was helpful. Now, your slurs and articulation must be followed. The reason why I'm saying that is your voicing is good, your loud is coming out, but it's not musical. So what I mean by that is I can't hear which note is more important and where your music actually finishes. And that's really important in this piece, especially when we have a lot of the same thing happening again. Da, 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 da. It comes back so many times. You need to let me feel like I'm singing and I'm taking the breath. That's where the articulation comes in. When you've got one full slur, it means that the phrase or the sentence hasn't finished. When the slur lifts off, it means we finish. And because we finish, if you lift your hand off for the end of the slur, it will be softer. If you start to lift randomly in the middle, then they all sound the same. So hop up. This is what I mean. Especially this part when you're playing, you went like this. Because you lifted in the middle, these came out the same. But if you don't lift up, can you hear a different sound? So every time, if you play your notes like this, they will be the same sound. You need to have the slur so you know after you lift, the next part needs to be careful. Just like how we practiced at the beginning, this push, you need to push down. Push down. And then on the note where the slur finishes, needs to relax. And when we relax, the note is naturally softer. So I'll go through just the right hand from the beginning so you can watch what happens. So here, where's the most important note of this first part? Yeah, exactly. So when you play, that is why we have the elbow there. Because we are indicating this is my most important note. So here I've got this, and then no more elbow. And then here, because I lift, I relax my hand. Can you hear that sound is different? So I've got this, relax my hand, different sound. But if you don't follow this, just then you're going slow through. Then it comes like this. Because your articulation didn't change. Do you understand what I mean? Every time the slur comes off, it's a different sound. So again, push towards this one. And then relax. See, different sound. And then we begin again. Now, where's the most important one? There, right? And then here, the slur off, so I relax the sound. Can you hear that relaxed? Okay? Yeah. So every single slur. What do I mean by you're not playing musical? Think of it like how we speak. Your loud and soft is there, but you have no direction. It's not really emphasizing. This is what you're doing, okay? If I speak like how you play like this. And then stronger, bring this note out, and then softer. It's jagged. But if I know, okay, I'm going to the middle, this is the point of my sentence, and then I go back and fade away to the full stop. Can you hear that? So when I'm saying my words,
it's not smooth.
You're not thinking of the point of the sentence. So what I mean by that in this is within each slur, you need to think, this is my most important note. Because that is the most important note, now you know how to bring out the other notes. The most important note should be the one that is the strongest. And then, therefore, all of your notes will be different. Do you understand what I mean? So here, if you don't know, then you just go louder. But then because you go louder and you don't know which note is strongest, they all sound the same. Right? And then because you don't know, that is where my phrase finishes, you play it strong. So every slur, you need to know, where is it going? Is it going towards? Is it going away? So we go through this again, and then we'll continue. So most important note, that comes out the most. And then on this last note, I finish, so it needs to decrescendo. And then here we begin the next phrase. Here I'm going towards the E flat. And then slow off, so I need to make it off. and then here. I'm going towards the E flat. Lift up. Okay, when we lift up, it helps with the phrasing. It shows the audience this is where we are finishing. Here's the comma, here's the exclamation mark, here's the full stop, and then we continue. When you don't have that, it sounds really tiring. Okay, I play for you like this. Could you hear where the sentence finished and begun and the commas and everything? No. Okay, so that's what I need you to do. When you're listening, all you need to do is figure out in that little section which is the most important note, and we go towards it. And then we have to go here, relax. Okay, so let's try from the beginning, the right hand. Once you get the direction, it will all come together. So we figured out this is the most important one, right? Okay, now show me. Yeah. Push. Good. Relax. Good. Lift. Good. Go towards the C. Now relax again. Okay, good. Now this note, was that a nice sound?
No.
So why not?
Because it was loud enough.
Wasn't loud enough? Have a listen. Can you tell me what's wrong with my sound?
Suddenly
Accented. So when we lead, it needs to match the rest of it. And that's another thing with the direction. When we go loud, it needs to match the previous note. So when I speak stronger, I slowly go like this. I don't suddenly go like that, and it sounds really funny. Okay, so here when you jump, control on the way down so it's not too harsh. And remember here, same thing, use the elbow. So this one. Rather than thing here. So use the elbow and it will make the sound a bit warmer rather than like hitting the key. Let's try from there. So just think controlled landing on the C. Good. Good, much better. Now it has to be in time. So we've got this. Controlled landing here. Try in time. Yeah. Good. Controlled. Good. Now, does that make sense for that note to be so strong? Which note did we say was the strongest? Yes. And then here we're decrescendoing, right? So that means every note after has to be a little bit softer. Okay, let's try again. So this one, I'll just show you again. And then relax. Try. A little bit more. Good try. Again. Crescendo. Good. Keep stronger. So this one needs to be a bit more. So we've got this. And then decrescendo. If this is too soft, then that will be accented. Try again. Good. Keep firm. Good. And then relax. And then come off. Good. And again. So here we need this turn to actually crescendo. So have a listen. So starting softer, crescendo, and match the sound there. Try. Good. Now faster, same thing. Try that. Good. Maintain. And then relax on the last one. Finish the sentence. Good. Lift. Good. Okay, continue. Now here, which one's the most important out of this next little slur? Play it and have a go. And you can sing it as well. Sometimes singing helps. Which one's the most important? guess if you don't know.
This one?
Okay, that's close, but it's actually this one here on the E flat. It's different from the first one. Okay, so this one, hop up, you can try it. So if you listen to this, does this sound correct? Or
The E sounds so smooth.
yes, not more smooth, it makes a little bit more sense because of the notes here. Okay, so now think about it like that. You can try sometimes, if you're not sure, just play every note a little bit louder until you find the one that sounds correct. Okay, so now let's try. If we are going towards the E flat, make sure when you're playing these you're thinking, I'm leading to the most important note and then relaxing. Try. From there, yep. Good. And then lead. And then relax. Lift. Good. Okay, now here, this part when we're playing, no moving the wrist anymore because it's one direction. So here. Okay, no moving the wrist. If we move, it takes away the direction. So more straightforward here. Bring out the E flat towards the E flat. And then relax, wrist off. Try from there. Yep. So no more moving here, yes. Towards E flat. Good, now relax. Good, so I know you're a bit confused. Why? Because here we said that was our most important note and that's why we moved, right? This is no longer our important note. That's why we don't move there. Does that make sense now? So we can move towards only on the E flat, but not the rest of the notes. That's why it's important you know which note is the most important and we move towards it. No movement for the other notes, except for the one that lifts off. Okay, from there again. So no movement. Yeah. And then you can move towards the E flat. Good. And then relax. And then the sound becomes correct, okay? And then here, can you tell me, it should be quite easy. What's the most important one? Is it? Where's the crescendo going towards? Okay, can you try and play that the strongest and see how it sounds? But what comes after the crescendo? What markings there? Forte. So let's have another think. If that is still forte, what does that mean? Which note should be the most important?
The E.
Good. Now this might be a bit confusing for you, but this is a different punctuation. So before we were talking about commas, we're talking about full stops. This is an exclamation mark. So we go there towards the end. Okay, so that means all of this, keep it firm, no movement until you reach that end one. And then elbow comes up and then you lift. Try from there. Towards the E, yep. Towards the E all the way. Think of the E most important. And then, finish. Good. Okay, now let's go from the beginning. So, just to recap, where's the first important note? And where does it finish? Good. And when we finish, what happens to our hand? Lift up and relax. Where's the next important note? Good. Okay, and then where do we go, where do we finish the little section? There. And do we relax again? Yes? Where's the next important note? Good. And then, where do we finish? Do we relax again? Yes. And then the next one, where's the most important note? Do we relax there?
No.
Yeah. That's how we make it interesting. Okay, let's go from there. Hands together. Think about these notes, and I help you as well. Remember the first one? Arm down. Push. Good. Voice right hand. And then finish. Relax the last one. Lift up. Good. And then here. Go towards a C. Control. Good. And then relax. Lift it. Good. Towards the E flat. So no movement here. Movement only on the E flat. Towards the E flat. And then relax. Now no relax this time. Go all the way. Good. Okay, now we can try a little bit faster from the beginning. The one and the two and the one. Try. One and two and three. Relax on the last one. Good, lift up. And we start it again. Go towards the C. Good. And then finish the phrase. Finish the phrase. Good. Good. Go towards the E flat. Show me. Good. Each one. Good. Finish. And then last one different. Go towards arm weight. Good. Okay? So when you were playing before, at the start of the lesson, were you thinking about these important notes?
Actually, I didn't know these were the important notes, but I did know these were.
Yes. Okay, so how can you figure out which ones are important? What should you do? So,
So like, you find the note that works best done loud.
yes, so you can do that. You can check the markings on the score if they have it. So you can see where does the crescendo lead. Usually where the crescendo goes to, that's the most important one, right? And then if there's a D crescendo after, we know that's where it finishes. Yeah? That's the most simple way. Like here, you know this is the most important note. So we have to lead there, and then here we finish the section, and then we start a new section. Does that make sense? Okay, so some of them you can tell by that. Another way you can tell is by listening on YouTube. So you listen one like little slur at a time, listen over and over again until you can find, they played that one as the most important one. And then you can mark it for yourself a little bit, and then when you play, that's the note you play to. Okay? Have you listened on YouTube to this one?
Yeah.
Which one do you listen to? Do you remember who plays it?
Remember one is Dimitri.
Okay, so you need to make sure you listen to the correct one, because sometimes if you listen to a bad version on YouTube, sometimes they put the shaping in the wrong parts and they're not following the score. Okay, so you need to make sure you listen to a good one so that when you're playing the direction, you actually play it correctly. Number 2.
9.
Opus 89?
9.
Oh, 9, okay. You should listen to Arthur Rubinstein. He is a good one.
Is it correct?
Yes, he is a very famous pianist and he's passed away. He was famous and he performed up until he was 80 and 90. So he's a really old man, but he plays it really nicely. So you should listen to him. This one is not yours.
It's 32.
So Opus
9.
9, number 2. This one is yours. Okay, let's figure it out together. That was really clear though, wasn't it? Yeah? Okay, so sometimes you can listen and then you can form your own opinion. See what you think of it. and then try to add it in here. As long as you have a sense of direction. Okay, so listen to Rubinstein. He's a good one to listen to. Just listen to little section by little section. Sometimes the reason why they play it differently is because in Chopin's time, he said yes to too many editions of his pieces. So what that means is some editions he said yes to has the crescendo there. Some editions he said yes to has a decrescendo there. So there's a lot of different ways to play one piece because Chopin said yes to different editions. So not all the editions have the same instructions. Does that make sense? But he is a good one to listen to because it's musical. So you can listen to this one and then you can think about how you can put the phrasing into the own piece. Okay, I know we spent a lot of time on this, but this is what is lacking in your playing right now. So hop up. And then sometimes the phrases are a little bit longer. So all of this, they are important. But this 1, 2, 3, 4 bars is actually one whole phrase. This is the end of the phrase. Okay, so that means here it's like a comma. So, you know, I say, this morning, that was where I have the strong one. This morning I went to the park. That's my first kind of little sentence, but it's not that important, is it? Didn't really tell you much. And then here, I went and I saw some dogs playing in the park. It's just adding to the story. Still nothing much, right? And then here, it's like, I thought it was so fun. They looked so happy. And then I saw a UFO in the sky. You understand? So I've got a few little sentences, but it's building up. Just like when you tell a story, you can't start off with the most exciting thing and it makes no sense, right? If I just say, I saw a UFO in the sky, you have so many questions. Where did you see it? When did you see it? How did you see it? So this here is building up. It's giving some background. It's still a sentence, still got some important parts, but that last one is the most important. Does that make sense to you now? A little bit? Yeah, because when we speak, when we are talking, not every sentence is that important, is it? If every sentence was so important, then it would be so exhausting. So sometimes you have to give some background, some more simple ones, and then bring out the important one. Okay, and then here when we've got this one, here Chopin is mucking around with that first sentence. So my first sentence was, this morning I went to the park. And then now it's like this, happy morning. I took myself down to the park. See, it's kind of the same, but kind of different. And when I speak this time, I'm putting the important, my louder words are on different ones. They're not always the same. Do you see what I mean? And then here, this is like explaining the dogs differently. So before I just said 2 dogs were playing together. This is like the dogs were playful, they were sneaky, they were mucking around, fighting each other. See, I'm still saying the same thing, aren't I? I'm still telling you about the dogs. But this time in my story, I'm saying something different, which is why there's a different note that is more important. Do you understand that now? Okay, so that is why you need to listen. That is what makes the story important. I told you the same story twice, but were you bored the second time? No. No? Why were you not bored? Exactly. And that is what Chopin's doing. Each time you have the phrase, you need to go somewhere different. So that when the audience listens, they think, yeah, I know he's going to go towards this note. But then when you play, it's, whoa, it was different. He went there instead. Okay? So that's why you always need to have intention. Where do you intend to be the most important note? Where do you intend for all the notes to lead to? And then once that comes out, your playing won't be boring. Okay? And then sometimes like here, this part, this is just peaceful. Like I was really tired after my day in the park. So I went home, had a nap. But then I suddenly had a nightmare and it shook me awake. And then I realized it was just a dream. So I went back to sleep. And then this time when I finally woke up, it was a nice wake up. See? Then that makes it different. Do you understand? So our sentences can't be all the same. You need to think of something to add it in. Once you can think of a story, once you can remember which notes are important, then it becomes interesting. doesn't it?
Yes.
Okay, so think about it. That's why it's funny. The beginning is a bit more predictable. You know, we go there and we go away, we go there, we go away. But in the middle, Chopin is expanding it. He's making the story interesting by not always having soft to strong, back to soft. Sometimes he has one all soft, and that means it's a more relaxed part of the story. And then suddenly it'll be really loud, and that is the part that he wants to capture the audience's attention. Okay? So when you're listening to YouTube, that's what I want you to listen to. Which notes are important? And then from there you can form your own little stories. Okay? Once you can understand that, once you can kind of have a think about it, then this whole piece will come together more. So you know that in your soft parts, you don't always have to have a strong part. It can just be soft for the sake of being soft, for the sake of being somewhere that's relaxed. And then some parts where it has to be really interesting, you need all the notes to be strong, and you cannot have a soft one. Okay?
Yes.
Have to keep me on my toes. Does that make sense?
It does.
So what do you have to do for this piece? That was a lot that I just spoke about. I want to make sure you can understand.
So make the loud.
So let's first of all, let's start. What was your playing missing?
The musicality.
The direction. Okay? So the direction, what is the direction?
Like direction to the important note.
Good.
To play it louder and then going out.
Yeah, good. And then, so that's the first thing. So in your practice, what must you do first?
What do you mean?
What do you need to do in order for this direction to come out?
Yeah, I have to find out the important note.
Good.
And then drill it.
Yes. Yeah. And then, does every single part have to have an important note and a part that finishes softer?
Not always finishing softer, but yeah, important note.
Important note. Does the important note always have to be loud?
It doesn't always have to be loud.
Yes. And why doesn't it always have to be loud?
Because, like, you might be going out of the sentence, or like a different.
A punctuation at the end, right? Full stop, comma, exclamation mark. Different characters towards the end, right? But it's also not the same because each sentence has a different importance. Each phrase, each slur that you play is different importance. Yeah? Just like what I just said, with all the things, some parts, one sentence is just a sentence, and then other parts it needs to be a really exciting part. And that's why not all the important notes need to be strong, but you need to make them important. How to make them important? You can make them stronger. You can slow down to really show this note is the most important, or you can speed up towards the note as well. So lots of different ways to show which one is important. Okay? I know it's a lot for you to do, but this is the basics of what you need to start. What happens after this is, once you play it, you figure out for yourself, I think this note should be important, I think this note should be important. When you go for the next lesson, then you can be explained to, this note actually isn't the most important one, you are incorrect because, and there will be an explanation. Once there is an explanation, you understand why you were wrong, then the next piece you get, you understand better how to find the important note. See, it's all building up. Does that make sense? So this piece, your challenge is to be an interesting storyteller for me. Right now, your story is saying the same sentence over and over again, and it's kind of too similar. So by the end, I'm just like, in the middle, you have to give me some excitement. You start in the park, and then you finish because you're tired, and then you have to go somewhere else. The whole story doesn't have to be in the park. Yes. So when you play, think about it like that. How are you going to make it exciting for me? The only way to make it exciting for me is you have to have a story. You have to have what I want to do here. I want to bring out this one because it's lots of minor chords. So bring it out so I can hear it. Okay? But of course, when you first start, this may not be very easy. So that's why you listen. You listen to what he does and then think, okay, I'll play this note stronger. And then think of a little story in your head for it.
What does this say?
No rush. So you're rushing here. Let's go from here. This one, I'll show you.
Just right hand.
Hands together. Oh, from this one? play it this fast. And then your left hand with one hand up. So you need to keep this all steady. Don't rush these notes here. That's it. It's just no rush there. Okay? All right. Let's have a listen to your Italian concerto. Okay, so this is much better now. What I say for the beginning will also apply to the rest of the piece. Okay, so your articulation is much better, which is great. Now what we need to work on is your sound a little bit more. So some parts you come out loud, some parts the crescendos need to be more clear and obvious. So because we're changing our focus now, we're drilling dynamics, you can drill about 2 to 3 lines together. Okay, so all of this at the beginning, you start off forte. Is there any change here? No. So everything needs to be kept strong. Same thing like what I told you with your chopin just then. Where's the end of this first little section? Good. So what should we do at the end of this section, you think, with a sound? Should it be the same as everything else, the sound? Okay, it's okay, let's try from here. I want you to keep everything more forte. to make it a little bit nicer.
Softer.
Just a little bit. Good. Okay, so because this is all quite energetic, we just want it a little bit. Okay, so rather than this, also because we are in 2/4, so it's usually 1 2 1 2 1. This is on the off beat, it's on the and. So we want the 1 coming out. So this one, a little bit less. Okay, rather than. So from this one, finish. Just a little bit there. Try from the beginning, keep it strong. Not too forceful, just strong. And finish. Good. And then, good. Keep it strong. And then, finish. And then here, we have what is called syncopation. Syncopation, this is an offbeat accent. See what I just told you? Here we're making this 1 and softer, right? They are purposely bringing out that 1 and. Yes, just a little bit, not so forceful. Try from there. Yes. Okay, now from this section to this section, we need to have the contrast. So finish here forte and then we must drop. Try from there. Forte. Yep. Bring out. Again. Did you mention it on the left hand? Yeah. So here, just following the dynamics, which note is the most important on the left hand?
What do you mean?
Which note should be the strongest in the left hand? No, because out of the crescendo part.
This one.
Is that on our downbeat? So is that on 1 or is it on 2? When we're counting?
And.
Yeah. So where's another note that comes down on the strong 1 or the 2?
Here.
But is it? Yes, good. Okay, so just keep that in mind. When we've got the crescendo, if you're not too sure which of the 2 notes need to be the strongest, it's always the one that comes down on the 1 rather than the and. Does that make sense? So we go there. And 2 and 1 and. We go towards that one. Try from there. Soft. Yeah. Good. Good. Crescendo. Crescendo. Okay, and then all of this one need to go slowly and figure it out. Let's go from here. So slowly crescendo. So from this one, we've got this. Here, so a little bit crescendo, a little bit decrescendo. Try from there, just the right hand. Crescendo. We have to crescendo towards the forte. Again. Decrescendo, go towards and decrescendo, go towards and decrescendo. Good. Now when you play this a little bit less, so here we're going from like MF to MP, MF to MP. Like a little bit of change, not too exaggerated. Good. Yeah. Crescendo, and then drop, not too much. Good, much better. Okay, so just a little bit of change. Let's try from there. This is our big change. Crescendo, crescendo, strongest part. Decrescendo, just a little bit more. Crescendo. Good. Do you understand what I mean? So just checking the markings on the score and then following it like that. And then when you're doing the dynamics, do about 2-3 lines together. like how we just did, so that you get the bigger picture idea. Do you understand?
Yes.
Okay, so that's what you need to do for the rest of this as well. And then make sure, because this is Bach's music, the FF can't be too forceful. Okay? A bit more. Firm sound. Yes. Okay, so let's try from there. And then bring it out. Firm sound. Yes. And then here, you need to play that note. Yes. Just the F. Yes. And then what's the sound here? Forte. And then we drop. Yeah, okay, so we go from FF to F to MF. Bring that out from there. Keep it firm. Keep it F. And then drop. Yes, good. Pop up. So therefore we have like the difference in the dynamic, and it's straight away. So from this one, keep it strong. Okay, try that. So keep this all firmer. We do have the D crescendo, but it just means from the FF we D crescendo to forte. Okay, so not too much change. Keep it firm and then drop there. Keep it firm all the way to forte. Whoop. Yeah, a bit more there. Good try. This is all good now. Can we go from here? Keep it firm. Forte. Firm forte. And then drop. Good. And then softer. And then crescendo and decrescendo. And a bit more coming out. Decrescendo. Keep it soft. Yeah. Okay, one more time from there by yourself. So just these little details need to add in. Whoa, not so strong. Better. And then here you crescendo, crescendo, and then suddenly drop. That needs to come out as well. Good. And then here, crescendo, crescendo, keep crescendoing. Yes. Does that make sense? Okay, so all of these dynamics here need to be brought out. This one obviously is a little bit different from your Chopin. The dynamics can be more like up and down, but it's because this piece is more playful and the other piece is more expressive. Okay, so for both of your pieces, that's what you need to make sure you do. You must follow the dynamics, and then each different section of your Italian concerto becomes more interesting. Okay, so 2-3 lines at a time, exactly like how we just did. You can first say out the dynamics, just do the right hand if you want, so you can get the control, and then add it to the left hand, because your articulation is much better now. Okay, any questions for that?
No question.
Okay, good. All right, so you can also get a point today.
What do you mean with one?
Does Shannon not give you points